Enya hunhuna. Yemfanto aba. Enyi kendifua. Obetimi amaya break it.
I'm
going to break the eight.
Hello there, welcome to Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. This is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. Indeed, that's what we're going to be seeking to do for you in the next 20 minutes plus here on Let's Talk Ghana. On today's edition of the show, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has backed Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison. In fact, he says that all the criticism of Dr. Ernest Addison and the management of the central bank is needless, and that Ghanaians must support the BOG in the construction of the new head office. Let us know what you think about that. Also on politics, Adwoa Safo, the Dom Kwabenya MP, she traveled, was away for a very long time, was giving us US accent and things. Well, she's back, has been back for quite a while, but this time she's apologizing to the New Patriotic Party hierarchy and to constituency executives as well as the party's primary nears. We'll hear from her. All of that and more if you stay with us here on Let's Talk Ghana. We're back shortly. You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. Like I always say, this is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. I am Eric Mawina Egbeta. And so we know that it's been an interesting few weeks since the report of the central bank became public, detailing how they posted some 55 billion cedis in losses, over 5 billion US dollars really. And there's been anger, there's been calls for resignation, but the heat went up a notch higher when the NDC minority in parliament said that, look, enough is enough. This BOG governor, we've been trying to get him to come to parliament even to answer questions, and yet he doesn't make himself available. And so we're going to mount pressure on him to resign. They set up a date and the likes for a protest demanding his resignation. And in a couple of weeks, there was actually real pressure on the central bank. And I'll tell you why. Because he was forced to come out to address the press over the matters in relation to the losses which were posted by the bank and then the new BOG head office, which is currently under construction. Well, looking like the pressure may have died down just a little bit. The NDC protest is on, though. The Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says, look, Ghanaians, stop this. All of these needless criticism of the BOG governor. Look, he has contributed to where we've reached as a country. Our economy has expanded. We've been able to increase revenue generation amongst many things. And so there's absolutely no basis for anybody anywhere to decide to criticize the central bank governor and his management. In fact, he says that all that we're seeing is the irony of public discourse. I would have loved to explain in tree, but simply to say that, look, public discourse has become so cheap that even in matters that you don't understand, you want to get up and openly criticize. He wrote a 6-page open letter to the people of Ghana, and I'm going to walk you through excerpts of it. And so it's going to come up on your screens now, though the letter, I don't know if it's a statement, it's a letter, but it's 6 pages. By the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, seeking to say that I support Dr. Ernest Addison and that everything he has done has been in the best interest of the country. And so that statement has come up on your screens now and starts with anonymous quotes and the likes. But I'm going to go straight into the second paragraph, which says that in much the same way, our central bank these almost 7 years has been prudent, strong, resilient, and functioning efficiently, and been barely noticed until the interruption of unprecedented global events. This is where he begins to list the achievement of Dr. Ernest Addison. So he says what? Our central bank assets have grown almost in tandem with the size of our financial sector and economy. From 53 billion cedis in 2016, the bank's assets have grown by nearly 1.5 to 126 billion cedis as at the end of 2022. The foundation has never been conspicuous. Our revenue has more than doubled since 2016, with total revenue increasing from 32 billion in 2016 to 96.7 billion as at end December 2022. The size of our economy has also more than doubled from a GDP value of 219.6 billion cedis in 2016 to an estimated 610 billion cedis by the end of 2022. So the argument he makes is that, look, this is show working, proper show working. You know that the video of a short guy who says that Katsayam Frama show working. The finance minister says Dr. Ernest Addison has shown working. As such, leave him alone. He's done nothing wrong to warrant all of the barrage of criticism which has come his way. And I'll continue in the statement that he released and go on to page 2, paragraph 3 and 4, where he makes the argument that, look, in balancing the books, central banks have moved from, oh, we don't post losses, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do this and that, to helping stabilize economies. So Ghana is not the only economy that has witnessed, or Ghana's central bank is not the only central bank that has posted losses. In fact, Germany, and he described it as the citadel of central bank governance, because Germany, they don't allow their central banks to post losses. They have posted losses. And the United States of America, Trini Jonas's United States of America, has posted a loss as at April 2022 of 52 billion US dollars. And so why the noise, the cacophony against the central bank governor, Dr. Ernest Addison? It's too much noise. Simmer down, in the words of Black Sherif. Everybody should quiet down, because this is something that is happening. He, in fact, goes ahead to state that he has opinions as to how things should be done, as to how the central bank should operate. But he has not forced those opinions down on the central bank governor, and so everybody should relax. This is why it gets interesting. And he says that the central bank governor has faced challenges just like himself, and that COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war is what has resulted in what it is that we're seeing. And so please, take the brakes off and don't worry the central bank governor. He says that with respect to the BOG's new headquarters, the evidence is clear that decisions to build had already been made long before these losses occurred. It is important for us to support such a critical institution to modernize its operations and have a befitting office space for a country that hosts the AFCFTA and has a vision to become the financial services hub of the continent. This is on page 5, the second paragraph. That's the argument of the central bank governor. And so, cohesion, it's needless, no need for all of the noise. Let us know your thoughts, really, on these comments by the central bank governor, because there's been a reaction by the NDC minority MPs. Mahama Ayariga is Boko Central MP, and he says that, look, the things the finance minister is saying, he should also resign, because he's openly admitting to being the one or the reason behind the decisions or actions taken by the central bank governor, which has resulted in the losses. Yes, Mahama Ayariga speaking to radio station 3FM in Accra yesterday.
There's nothing good about it that he can be extolling. Absolutely nothing good about it. That they have maintained policy solvency is not a function of their ingenuity. Their policy solvency maintenance is because the law says that they are the ones to make policy. It's as simple as that. And because we are law-abiding, we will still go ahead and comply with policy made by an incompetent governor. That is the only difference. They are not policy solvent because they have proven themselves to be, excellent deliverers of their commitments. So I think that there's nothing that the finance minister can say about the governor today that will save the governor. Indeed, I believe that it's not just the governor who must go. The finance minister, by this statement that he has made, has admitted that he is the architect of what the governor has done, which has destroyed the central bank and destroyed the financial sector. And so, indeed, we must be demanding that the very accountability that we are asking of the governor must be extended to the finance minister. He must equally leave office. We've tried hard to take him out. He managed to survive. And I believe that is why he can sit and utter the kind of things that he's uttering today, admitting glaringly that the central bank is now in cahoot with the government and will print money for the government if government desires more money, because reportedly that is the new direction of central banks.
You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana. So that's the Boko Central MP, Mahama Ayariga, there. We're going to end this part of the conversation and then we'll go for our very first break here on Let's Talk Ghana. When we return, we'll go into the NPP and its politics because Adwoa Safo has been apologizing. We're back shortly. You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana. This is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. Always a pleasure to get feedback from you as to what it is that we bring to you, the contents that we bring to you. So, the Dom Kwabenya MP, Sarah Adwoa Safo, is back in the news again, the front burner. You recall the conversations in relation to the e-levy and government needing the numbers to pass the e-levy, which resulted in fights somewhere 2022 and the likes. She was at the center of it all because she took nearly a year break from Parliament. And with the numbers tight, neck and neck, it meant that the government could not carry out its duties. In fact, she's been dragged before the Privileges Committee over her absence and a whole lot, but it looks like nothing is going to come out of it. With the governing New Patriotic Party's primaries near, where they are seeking to do internal elections to elect who becomes their candidate for the various constituencies, she's seeking to contest again. And so she's been engaging constituents, been going around doing businesses, doing visiting families at funerals, weddings, and the likes, the usual from MPs. This time round, after all of that, she's come out with a very open apology to the hierarchy of the party. Sarah Adwoa Safo says, look, for all the things that I did wrong to the NPP as a party, from the president to my constituency executives, I'm sorry. I didn't do it well. In fact, I was in a really tight place and things were not good for me. And so I ask that you forgive me. I apologize. Please forgive me. Almost feels as though I'm apologizing on her behalf. But this is Sarah Adwoa Safo officially on her Twitter account and various social media handles posting her apology to the NPP and the entirety of Ghana.
Me pesa me fa kwenye iso ede echo pakese ede ma me party for the New Patriotic Party any party mpanyimfo ni di kan mampanyin na adodankwa ekufuado na be di che the vice president ye maame the chief of staff honorable Frema Osei Opare majority leader and the entire leadership of parliament. Minuanom emrashe bedwafo majority caucus me pese me fa kwanya so epamu nyina chew enwe bi a etwemu eniye bi a efiri me ho ebaaye ese me sira mo se enya ni da ho ena enye madwimu na na mesi ne pi sesebe me de monim betwitwiri fom eniama bebre na na ekoso ewo mabrabom ene mabusiemu me fa akwanya isu di nyankopon di nsire mu nyina the regional executive Greater Accra, the constituency executives are chairman Bonsu Eda Anu, the headquarters of New Patriotic Party, the general secretary and the national chairman any wapamfu nyina the pamu nyina cho supporters, sympathizers, mo nyina mo do party no, na mo do me, e wa bi hye mu kese e wo yempesua ni mu no. Me pa mo nyina chew. Me asibia mo fa me bone enche me. Sebi mpanyifo bu baby se wo ba eja ne nan gu ona so a yen twantwene na sebe ye pepa. Me ababia Yankopon din srem nyina me din de Adwoa safo na che bedwani a me gina ho edema omanfo a ewo dome kwa ahenya Yankopon srem nyina.
And so that's Sarah Adwoa Safo and her apology. Will the party take this apology? Because the contest in the Dom Kwabenya area is really tight. Mike Okwe Jr. has been contesting her for quite a while. 2 times he's not been successful. The grounds appear to be a bit fertile for him. And it's not looking good for Sarah Adwoa, for some say, reason why she's been apologizing. Well, on the mention of Michael Quay, the senior, Professor Michael Quay, is a chair of the governing New Patriotic Party's elections committee, the presidential elections committee. They held balloting on Wednesday for the 4 candidates seeking to vie for the party's flag bearership slot come November 4. There's been changes to the modalities, seeking to rein in all the candidates and the concerns, seeking to address it all. They addressed a news conference. Here's exactly what it is that he said and the outline for the balloting come November 4.
James.
Sorry.
We consider it a very useful day because we have worked basics that we feel affect, touch, and concern the election. The MPP, we are very, very proud of our credentials. We can sit, enjoy, and make things work. And for that matter, last week we were meeting the relevant persons or their representatives working on all the modalities. You know, we're going to play football, like the process. And it's not going to be a one-day event. It is going to continue until the day we have the election, and even thereafter. We have resolved a number of issues and requests made by the aspirants themselves. We have among the gentlemen here by themselves, Honorable Adam Nimo and Honorable Adwoa present, and also representatives of the Vice President, Honorable Dr. Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bouya, as well as Dr. Akoto Efriye. He is also say Akoto, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, it's clear and clean. We know from the past that there have been a lot of problems about process. People sometimes come and no one really can tell until the last minute. It's going to resolve within a whole month before the election. And if you want the process, you are going to swear, among other things, an affidavit, and so on and so forth. And we all know the consequences of swearing a false affidavit. It can lead you to jail, and it's a very, very serious matter. In fact, we are streamlining and tightening the rules in such a way that at the end of the day, the NPP will win, not any particular person, because we all rally behind that person and win power and break the Eaight. This is a business that we are doing here. We are doing very, very, very seriously. And by way of the placement, the tossing of the paper, Honorable Kennedy Adwoa takes number 1. The Vice President takes number 2. Takes number 4. That is the final placement by way of the ballot, and this is how it's going to be on the ballot paper for the election. We are glad for your interest in the process, and we are happy about the fact that we have resolved the nitty-gritties that will make the election smooth, fair, and in the best interest of our great party. We thank you very much.
Professor Mike Aaron Okoye, President or the Chair of the Elections Committee of the governing New Patriotic Party. So there you have it. Kennedy Japan number 1, Dr. Bawumia number 2. They are the leading candidates, really. A lot of people have described it as a two-horse race. We'll see what becomes of it. Come November 4, we'll be there to cover, provide details. And it's looking like it will be scattered all across the country, and so make for an interesting view what happens. Intimidation and concerns of vote buying, the Elections Committee says they are seeking to address it. But Kennedy Japan doesn't seem to buy into it so much, because he's still been speaking about vote buying and taking pot shots at the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. Here's what he told journalists after picking the number 1 slot come November 4.
I'm going to break the Eaight.
Just a quick one in English.
Just a mention of ethanol. Brazil. Ebro, ethanol. Brazil for the front fuel about 50% of cars in ethanol. 50% a reduce fuel prices by 20%. And Sasia a Bugana, a bro, see a common large scale ethanol every 12,500 acres. We were in the form every 12,500 acres will give you 200,000 liters of ethanol. Every 4.5 acres, we are amount a ton of ethanol. Okay, this is how we have to develop this country. See, we are in your mind, timid bunch, in your mind, timid abe, in your mind, timid it generates electricity. Yet they abe electricity. What are we doing? What are we doing in this country? MPP for say bet me a change Ghana delegates. Monambe decided the fate of the country. Because someone to a mamia and this will do be a woman trimming manisono and Timmy and ye. It may straight delegates. Momayanji party nisio. Nampen force a besi usuakesha woman. Yachino come in fianso. Onipa da sani bi obeba nchen a osi jisika koto abama no na sabe wadwene ho hu se wo de ahia wonti wo ye jimifo nti so ochino kom fianso a oba obetimi asa de sika dada ti se no de dada ye regional chairman no ene ayu makoto mumma ye ni delegate na sabe omu fi se nyansa ne yetim enam ya setrem enchire omu se nyankopon nyansa odi bo onipa da sani ya yensu delegate ebi wo yetim omu tim fesika emeda dae ema ye ho ensan kochim ani baya omu baya omu ka brofo akese ka brofo akese nyina ya sitrema ye nyina we ya sitrema ye nyina we they don't have anything new. Can I Japan? I'll give hope to Ghanaians. I'll give hope to the delegates. And this is a new hope. All of us should embrace it and make sure that we change the fortunes of this country. And I know, social science is not clear. But we are akasa beho and one beho. Also the first time, the number 8, you know, and I'm going 1. This time, the number 3, and I say 1. We and Century and Chile say, can Japan will win November 4th. Enti, me nyamu say, be Timaminka. Any pabimunam and a woman who delegate for say, a bay you almost dear free, a bay you almost dear free album meaning in our heart. Obieni wa obetima you will be dear free. Enti Yamunano. I mean, so Kotuaba. Why wouldn't he say? What the positions I can see, why your money here? I didn't go no. I didn't know this catch here anyway. And who no crash say, what fail? And Nunti and by force, oh dear Huna, say Yantuabama. sika na wutua bebrebe no a clear indication say what failing country no a failing party no and unti na wutua sika kese to buy the people. I was reading an article omo panche say Africa for
Kennedy Ohene, Japan there. That's how we'll end today's edition of Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 TV. Some sad news, however, that some fishermen have lost or they've gone missing around the Adwoa estuary. They went to get food, their livelihood and the likes, and there's a search and rescue effort for them. Prayers up that they are found, hopefully somewhere alive, but we'll provide details and updates as and when we get them. That's our show for you today. From our studios here, Studios 2 TV on Facebook, YouTube, always a pleasure. We're back again on Monday with another exciting edition of the show with exactly what it is that's happening in the country. I am Eric Mawina Egbeta. Many thanks for watching.
Studios 2 TV. The truth is here in your eyes.